Welcome back. President Trump's attempted use of an 18th century law to deport Venezuelan migrants is in all likelihood headed to the Supreme Court. Why? Because an appeals court has said he cannot use that for that purpose. Camilo Montoya-Galvez joins me now. Camilo, always great to see you.
Hi, Major.
What did the appeals court say, and what is the likelihood this goes to the Supreme Court? Almost certain.
Yes, and just to level set it, Major, this wartime authority dating back to 1798, 22 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed.
John Adams was president.
That's
signed
correct.
it into law.
Yes. Has not been invoked ever during peacetime until now.
Right.
Because traditionally it has been used against states and governments that are actively at war with the U.S., but the Trump administration made this extraordinary legal argument that the criminal gang from Venezuela, Tren de Aragua, was actively invading the U.S. and that suspected members of that group should be summarily expelled from the U.S. without any due process. The court in New Orleans has rejected that categorically, saying that the criminal gang Tren de Aragua is not, in fact, invading the U.S., and that traditionally this is not an act of invasion. Illegal immigration is not a military incursion into the U.S. Criminal activity does not connotate an illegal invasion of the country, and the administration does not have the authority to summarily deport suspected gang members under this authority. However, the panel said, importantly, that the administration does have the legal authority to utilize other immigration laws to deport suspected gang members who are here in the country illegally, but that requires some degree of due process, Major.
And Camilo, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but let's try to put two things together. There are 3 battleships of the United States government off the coast of Venezuela. There was a action yesterday against a fast boat blown out of the water by the United States military coming from Venezuela. Will that be part of this conversation that will eventually make it to the Supreme Court, that we're treating this as if it's almost a near military situation?
Yes, because the administration said that the people on that boat were alleged members of this Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, who were trying to traffic drugs into the country, illicit drugs into the U.S. And so that has been the argument, that these suspected gang members should effectively, Major, be treated as enemy combatants and should be subject to wartime authorities. This court has said otherwise so far.
And very quickly, do you know anything about this memo from the Pentagon about judge advocate generals being moved in as potential immigration judges?
Well, the Trump administration faces a major hurdle in its mass deportation effort, and that is that there's a huge backlog of millions of pending cases before the immigration court system and only 600 immigration judges to oversee them. So now it is turning to Department of Defense lawyers to serve as temporary immigration judges.
Camilo Montoya-Galvez, you always have it, every single time. I appreciate it.